Down in the pit, the woman took off her pants. The man glanced at her, quickly walked over to collect them, and then stripped off his own pants too. But then he put his shoes back on, grabbed both pairs of pants, and walked over to the pool. He dunked them in the water until they were completely soaked through. Once the pants were saturated, he headed over to the pile of sticks and pulled the belts out of the pants. He used them to lash two thick sticks tightly together. Finally, he tied the pants securely to the sticks. With everything ready, he looked up at the 15-foot wall in front of him and hurled the stick contraption upward with all his might. But it slid right back down, nearly clipping him on the head. Still, he didn't give up. Gritting his teeth, he summoned every ounce of strength and threw it again. This time, the ends of the sticks caught on the edge of the pit, suspended in the air like a bridge. He immediately tugged hard on the pants to make sure they'd hold. Then he planted one foot against the wall and started climbing. The slick surface made every move brutal, and the sticks began to bend under his weight. He picked up the pace, scrambling upward with everything he had. Just as he was about to reach the edge, his foot slipped. His right leg slammed hard into the wall, and he cried out in agony, clinging desperately to the pants with both hands. A second later, the searing pain sent him crashing to the ground, writhing and moaning. The woman rushed over to check on him, but what she saw made her gasp. There was a nasty gash on his right leg, with a huge chunk of flesh torn clean off his knee. Seeing how bad it was, she didn't hesitate. She ripped a piece of cloth from the sticks, soaked it in the water, and pressed it against his wound. But instead of helping, her improvised first aid only made him scream louder. She froze, completely at a loss, staring helplessly. And then things got worse. While she was fumbling with the wound, rain started pouring from the sky. As it came down harder and harder, water began flooding into the pit. The woman couldn't swim, and panic seized her. She was terrified of drowning in this hole. But the man threw his arms open and started laughing. Watching the water rush in, he calmly led her to one end of the pit and positioned them on higher ground to wait. Soon the water level kept rising. Worried she might drown, the man tried to get her to grab onto branches hanging down from above. But right then, her foot slipped, and she went tumbling into the water, flailing wildly. As she was about to go under, the man's panic kicked in. He dove in after her, fought his way through the water, and wrapped his arms around her, refusing to let go. They stood there in waist-deep filthy water, waiting it out. Just a little deeper, and they'd be able to use the buoyancy to float up and out. But to their disbelief, after all that waiting, the rain stopped almost as quickly as it started. The man looked frustrated but tried to stay upbeat. It'll rain again. Just give it time. We'll be out of here soon. But even after all the water dried up, no rain came. Worse yet, after soaking in that nasty water for so long, the man's wound got infected. Dark, puffy bruises spread around his eyes, which freaked the woman out completely. What terrified her even more was seeing the man drop to his knees like a madman and start guzzling the dirty water. Then he reached into the pool, pulled something out, and began gnawing on it. The woman backed away slowly, calling out his name with a trembling voice. But as the man slowly turned around, the woman saw something absolutely horrifying, and her eyes went wide with terror.